Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads the consecration of the Lord Ram Temple at Ayodhya. The Ram Lalla idol is unveiled. India's Prime Minister says 22nd January 2024 is not a date written on a calendar. It's the origin of a new time cycle. The Indian diaspora across the globe celebrates the historic consecration of Lord Ram at Ayodhya. And Ron DeSantis, the Republican candidate, ends his 2024 campaign and endorses Donald Trump for president. First up, all the news about the consecration of Lord Ram at Ayodhya. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached the temple complex where he walked barefoot, carrying what appears to be a silver crown for the deity. The air was filled with chants of Jai Shri Ram and Har Har Mahadev. Prime Minister Modi climbed 33 steps to the temple complex. Amid the Mangal Dhwani, Prime Minister Narendra Modi performed the consecration ceremony. The Prime Minister took a sankalp for the consecration ceremony. 121 priests led by Acharya Lakshmikant Dikshit performed the ceremony. Adorned in gold and yellow flowers, the 51-inch tall idol captures the image of a 5-year-old Lord Ram standing gracefully on a lotus, all meticulously carved from a single block of stone. The Ram Lalla idol at Ayodhya depicts Lord Ram as a 5-year-old boy. The idol was carved by Arun Yogiraj, a Mysuru-based sculptor. The idol is extremely detailed and it depicts the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, and not just of Lord Ram. The idol has been carved out of a single black stone, and even the lotus under it is part of the same stone. The weight of the Ram Lalla is between 150 and 200 kilograms. It stands at 4 feet 24 inches in height and 3 feet in width. And during the completion of the consecration ceremony, the Prime Minister symbolically opened the eyes of the deity, which is a ritual that signifies the consecration and awakening of the divine presence. Following this symbolic act, the Indian Air Force helicopters showered flowers on the deity, adding a grand and celebrity touch to the event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the gathering on the premises of the temple, and amid the chanting of hymns and Vedic mantras, the Prime Minister concluded his 11-day fast and was emotional. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who led the consecration ceremony, started his address by saying that after a decades-long wait, Ram has finally arrived in Ayodhya.
आज हमारे राम आ गए हैं। सदियों की प्रतीक्षा के बाद हमारे राम आ गए हैं। सदियों का अभूतपूर्व धैर्य, अनगिनत बलिदान, त्याग और तपस्या के बाद हमारे प्रभु राम आ गए हैं। इस शुभ घड़ी की आप सभी को, समस्त देशवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
Addressing the invitees following the consecration of the Ram Temple, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that he would want to use the day to apologize to Lord Ram, as it took them so many centuries to complete the consecration of the temple.
मैं आज प्रभु श्री राम से क्षमा याचना भी करता हूं। हमारे पुरुषार्थ, हमारे त्याग, तपस्या में कुछ तो कमी रह गई होगी कि हम इतनी सदियों तक ये कार्य कर नहीं पाए। आज वो कमी पूरी हुई है। मुझे विश्वास है प्रभु राम आज हमें अवश्य क्षमा करेंगे।
In his address, India's Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh chief Mohan Bhagwat said that today in Ayodhya, along with Ram Lalla, India's pride has been returned.
राम लला के साथ भारत का स्व लौट के आया है और संपूर्ण विश्व को त्रासदी से राहत देने वाला एक नया भारत खड़ा होके रहेगा, इसका प्रतीक आज का कार्यक्रम बन गया है। ऐसे समय में आपके उत्साह का, आपके आनंद का वर्णन कोई नहीं कर सकता। हम यहाँ पर अनुभव कर रहे, पूर्ण देश में यही वातावरण है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कठोर व्रत रखा वो तपस्वी है ही। आज रामलला वापस फिर से आए हैं 500 साल के बाद। उनकी तपस्या को, उनके त्याग को, उनके परिश्रम को शत बार, सहस्त्र बार, कोटि बार नमन है।
And in his address, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a long-awaited dream of the people of India has finally come true.
संभवतः विश्व में पहला ऐसा अनूठा प्रकरण होगा जिसमें किसी राष्ट्र के बहुसंख्यक समाज ने अपने ही देश में अपने आराध्य की जन्मस्थली पर मंदिर निर्माण के लिए इतने वर्षों तक और इतने स्तरों पर लड़ाई लड़ी हो। आज आत्मा प्रफुल्लित है इस बात से कि मंदिर वही बना है जहां बनाने का संकल्प लिया था।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also showered flower petals on the workers who were a part of the construction crew at the Ram Temple in Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also offered prayers at the Jatayu idol in Ayodhya after the consecration ceremony. And we are joined by Sadhvi Pragya Bharti, Adhyatmik Dharam Guru. Thank you very much, Sadhvi ji, for being with us. Just put into context for us the importance of today, first of all, of the Ram Lalla. Let's try and understand the importance of the Ram Lalla itself.
First of all, I would say warm wishes to everyone for joy and blessings on the joyous occasion of Lord Ram's homecoming at the eagerly anticipated Ram Mandir. May the sacred moment usher in peace, prosperity and harmony for all. Happy celebrations and welcome homecoming of Lord Ram. And also I would like to extend heartfelt Ram Diwali wishes to all fellow Indians around the world who are celebrating this significant day in honor of Lord Ram's homecoming. So I would say happy Ram Diwali to everyone. And when we talk about today's day, it is such a big day in the history of India. Today marks the long-awaited moment that has stirred the hearts of 1.4 billion Indians with profound anticipation. I would say the air is filled with an indescribable emotion as the beloved Lord Ram reclaims his rightful throne. A tide of Sanatan sweeps across the nation. And what's truly heartening is the overwhelming sense of pride that courses through the veins of India's youth and its citizens. And the visuals unfolding on your channel are truly spellbinding. Today our hearts are brimming with emotions. After enduring the arduous struggle of 500 years, this moment stands before us, a testament to our unwavering faith. We're not just witnesses, we are the blessed custodians of these historic moments, I would say, made possible by the tireless efforts of Kar Sevaks and devout Ram Bhakts during the Ram Mandir movement.
Indeed. Well, I mean, for the sake of our international viewers, I was trying to ask you questions about phases of Lord Ram's life, because we understand that this is the birthplace also of Lord Ram, but you know he does return after defeating Ravan, and he is made the king as well. And that is when Ram Rajya begins in Ayodhya. In that context, you know, there are two different elements to Ayodhya, and then also the emergence of Ayodhya as a place which has the divine presence as well as the purpose of duty and let's say the Maryada Purushottam, in the sense that a rules-based order. So I mean, this portion is really only about the birthplace of Ram, or is it about everything else as well?
It is about about so much, I would say. Of course, it's the birthplace of Lord Ram, which holds so much significance in life of every Ram Bhakt across the globe. But also, if we talk about Ayodhya, so I would say in the center of Ayodhya, a city that endured the weight of 500 years of struggle and sacrifice, a brilliant dawn has finally arrived. Today is more than just a day. It signifies an emotional crescendo, a poignant symphony of redemption and triumph. Because when you talk about Ayodhya, I would say, as the first rays of dawn break over Ayodhya, sacred city with a storied past, a new chapter unfolds, a chapter resonating with the promise of hope, restoration, and a profound sense of spiritual awakening. Ayodhya, once shrouded in the shadows of historic struggles, now stands tall, adorned with the hues of regained glory. The echoes of its glorious past reverberate through its streets, temples, and sacred spaces, marking a triumphant resurgence. And today, Ayodhya's transformation symbolizes not just a local victory, I would say, but a colossal triumph for the entire Indian civilization. It is a resounding testament to resilience, faith, and the indomitable spirit of a people who have weathered centuries of challenges. And as we talk about Ayodhya, Ayodhya has regained its stature and radiance in and when we talk about Ayodhya, when we talk about the stature, I would also say India's heart swells with pride, a pride born not from arrogance but from the profound realization that the nation has achieved a significant milestone in reclaiming its cultural and spiritual heritage. This monumental moment transcends religious and regional boundaries,
Indeed.
uniting every Indian in a shared celebration of identity and legacy, I would say.
Indeed. Of course, people are familiar with the two epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And we see that Lord Ram is, of course, the primary character of the Ramayana, but he's also mentioned in the Mahabharata. We know that there are various avatars of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Ram, of course, is one of them. In that context, perhaps, for our international audience, you can explain to us the significance of why Lord Ram is so important in the Hindu faith.
Yes, of course, definitely. Because when we talk about this Ram Mandir, this new divine, majestic temple is a sight to behold beyond imagination, I would say. And we recall the times, when there were slogans, "Re Saugand Ram ki khate hain, mandir wahi banayenge," and today that day has arrived. So it would not be an exaggeration to say that in the age of Kali Yuga, we are witnessing a glimpse of Ram Yuga. See, what is this Ram Yuga? Where the ethics of Ram are there. What is Ram Rajya? If I define in the words of Rabindranath Tagore, he beautifully said through a poem, he said, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the society has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic wall. So that is Ram Rajya,
Indeed.
where we can stand tall, where we are proud of our Sanatan values, of our strong cultural values. That is what Ram Rajya is.
Indeed.
And Lord Ram exemplifies that. So this
Sure.
is the importance of Lord Ram and Ram Rajya both.
So going forward, will you think now that Ayodhya will also develop, deities around the other characters in Lord Ram's life? Sita Ma, for one, also Hanuman, the other characters who played such a vital role in the life of Lord Ram. And we know that in this temple itself, there are also statues of the brothers of Lord Ram. So it only deals with really that portion of his life when he was a child. But much greater still waits. And perhaps, Ayodhya will, over time, tell that story as well.
Before that, Mark, can I just,
Yeah.
I would like to touch, one aspect.
Yeah.
I believe it's very important for the viewers to know internationally because since people see or watch your channel, globally. So I'd like to mention a very important fact that the bricks used in building the Ram Mandir have Lord Ram's name engraved on them,
Right.
and
And
a
they've come
tribute
from
is being
different parts also. In fact, I think there's soil also that has come from Thailand.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Of course, I was about to mention that
Yes.
also. And a few facts that I'd like to tell the viewers about the Ram Mandir, that a tribute is being constructed to honor the sacrifices of the car sevaks also, who give it their all, I would say, not just blood and sweat, but also their dreams, hopes, and unwavering devotion, all to bring the temple to life. And while you spoke about soil and water, so to symbolize, I would say, to symbolize the territorial integrity of the nation, sacred soil and water have been brought from the rivered sites, marking a demonstration of national unity. And not only that, since we all know that Ma Sita spent
Yes.
I would say, like a lot of time, extended period of exile in the Ashok Vatika. So the
Right.
stone that's called Shila from
Right.
this sacred place, also brought by the ministers from Sri Lanka, carries the weight of her resilience. And the emotional
Right.
resonance of this act is profound.
That's
Like
important. That's
every
an important point you raise, of course, that every aspect of the life of Lord Ram in terms of soil seems to be carried to this temple and hence adds to its sacredness. We are also joined by Dr. Anshu Joshi, who is an expert on international affairs and Indian culture, joining us. Dr. Joshi, we look at, the influence of the Ramayana, especially in our area, in India's extended neighborhood, right up to Cambodia, where we have the Angkor Wat temples there, which depict on their walls the entire story of both the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. In this context, tell us a little bit more about, is this a reawakening or a rejuvenation in a sense of that spirit that existed then, where, the values were carried far and wide?
Mark, first and foremost, I would like to extend my hearty congratulations to not only the Indians who have witnessed the historic moments of the Pran Pratishtha of Sri Ram, who we know as Ram Lala very fondly. And this drive to build this Ram temple and Pran Pratishtha of Sri Ram indeed is an attempt to reinstate the guiding principles of our ancient land and ancient Indian culture, which is based on the primary philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, wherein we consider entire globe as one family. And that is why we see the impact of the characteristic of Sri Ram, the nature of Sri Ram, not only on Indians, but in and around India, predominantly in this on this entire Asian land. And if we try to see or analyze that why the characteristics of Ram influenced the other nations apart from India, we would see that he was all about justice and
Yes.
pluralism and inclusivity and righteousness,
Right.
courage,
Absolutely.
and sacrifice. So when we look at Sri Ram, he actually symbolizes the very soul of Indian culture. And what we know as Indian culture is not only limited to India. Indian culture is far more above and beyond the territorial, land of what we know as India today. So that is where I would like to bring into the discussion the other countries, for example Indonesia, wherein we see that how very fondly whatever religion people practice there, but there is a tradition of Ram Katha and Ramayan. and they very fondly keep the name of Ram
Right.
with their name there, irrespective of their religion. And
Yes.
today also I saw that in different parts of the world, it was not only about India's fervor or India's joy, or it was not only Indians who were celebrating Pran Pratishtha of Sri Ram. I could see Sri Ram at Times Square also yesterday, and I could see that how people from other nations have also been celebrating this Pran Pratishtha Mahotsav. And
Okay.
this is epic, this is historic.
Indeed. Let's turn once again to Sadhvi Bharti. In terms of relevance, the world looks for modern icons. How can we make Lord Ram an icon for the youth of today?
See, Mark, you've asked a very, very beautiful question. It's so apt in today's contemporary world, I would say, because when you talk about Lord Ram, how do I define Lord Ram? Is right action man, the one who has done everything right in his life. He is an exemplary figure to the youth. He's an inspiration to the youth of today. And, the message he sent across is how you can actually how you can stick to the values and ethics, while managing everything in your life. He was an idle son, an idle politician, he was an idle husband. So there's a lot to learn from his life, There's a lot which you can take inspiration from his life. So this is one message that's very important. Second message, that he never left downtrodden. He was always with the downtrodden. He always worked for the underprivileged section, no matter wherever you go, how much you grow in life, but give back to the society. That is one message I would definitely like to talk about, because see, he was, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, like we say, he was Lord of Shabri also. He was Lord of Kevat also. So he worked for downtrodden. He worked for underprivileged section also. So this is one very important thing. And since you talk about Lord Ram, but I would also like to mention about something which is very heart-touching, Mark. I was seeing the visuals on your channel, and the Prime Minister's gesture of showering flowers on workers is really heart-touching. I'd like to talk about it because, whatever actions the leader of the country takes are observed by the entire nation, sending a positive message to everyone. And specifically, in this poignant moment, I'd like to congratulate and thank Prime Minister Modi ji and Yogi ji. Their unwavering commitment and tireless efforts have transformed a distant dream into a tangible reality, I would say. And especially when you have a lot of challenges in front of you, enduring the weight of allegations also from the opposition. So their leadership has been the guiding light through the darkest hours of uncertainty, bringing forth a day that every Indian scattered across the corners of the world had longed for. And as we were talking about Ayodhya, few minutes back, I would say as Ayodhya regains its lost glory, it does so not just as a physical place, but as an embodiment of a collective spirit that refused to be extinguished. And the struggles of the past have given way to a radiant present. And we stand on the, pinnacle of a future where the echoes of this historic day will resonate for generations to come.
Indeed. Dr. Joshi, when we look at Ayodhya in the future, it's obviously now going to become a big pilgrimage center. People from all over the world will probably come there. To what extent will this, influence, let's say, policy decisions, the way people think? You're an expert on international affairs, and there are always influences, isn't it, in the way people conduct their relations with different countries. So to what extent, can culture be a central binding force, let's say, in terms of India's relations with the world?
So there are two things I would like to highlight here, Mark. First and foremost, as the voice of Global South, as one of the fastest growing economies of the world, as a new global power, I would say, using its soft power, of course, through Ayodhya and through Sri Ram, India has started a new chapter of its cultural tourism for people of other nations. And this cultural tourism has beautiful dimensions ranging from conventional tourism to touching the new heights of spirituality as well.
Yes.
Because when people from other nations and people have a lot of enthusiasm to know nature of Ram, or what can we learn from Ramayana, or what are the messages for the younger generation in it. There are a lot of people who are now interested in it. So India has opened a new door of opportunity, not only through Ayodhya. For this particular point, I would say India has also developed Kashi corridor. India has developed a Mahakal corridor in Ujjain. India is also developing Kamakhya corridor. So by developing infrastructure of all these historic, religious, cultural places of significance of
Yes.
India, we are actually, as a developing nation or as an emerging economy, we are teaching other nations to learn this from us. And here also we can collaborate with other nations. So from developing infrastructure to coming up with the latest technologies to providing employment not only to the local people but other IT-based companies also, there are immense opportunities I do see in Ayodhya, for that matter in Mahakal corridor, for Kashi corridor, as well as for
Yes.
Kamakhya corridor. And
Absolutely.
infrastructurally, we would be geostrategically, we will be able to connect with other nations, for example, through Kamakhya corridor that will reach up to Bhutan. And the other point is collaboration. What we can learn through the nature of Sri Ram, and that is what we are propagating as a message, what our Honorable Prime Minister also stated during his address today.
Right. Both of you do stay with us. We'll play out a few reactions and then come back to you for our discussion. You know, celebrities from entertainment, sports, politics, art and culture attended the consecration ceremony of the Ram Temple. Let's take a look at this report.
The much-awaited moment for Indians finally arrived on Monday. The country witnessed the historic moment of the consecration ceremony of Ram Lala deity at Ram Temple that holds great cultural and national significance. It took place in India's Ayodhya Dham. People from all walks of life came to witness the significant event. Celebrities from the world of entertainment to sports, saints, politicians, artists, literateurs and cultural icons participated in the ceremony.
This is a feeling that we have never experienced, and this is a blessing for us. We take this blessing and we pray for everybody.
Among the celebrities from the entertainment industry were Indian actors Rajnikant, Chiranjeevi, Ram Charan, Amitabh Bachchan, Abhishek Bachchan, Jackie Shroff, Madhuri Dixit, Kangana Ranaut and director Rohit Shetty. Ranbir Kapoor with wife Alia Bhatt and Vicky Kaushal with wife Katrina Kaif were present at the Ayodhya Dham.
शुभ दिन है, ऐसा लगता है कि सोल क्लेंजिंग बोलते हैं ना, साफ हो गया आगे मंदिर में.
Cricketing legends Sachin Tendulkar, Venkatesh Prasad and Anil Kumble also witnessed the event.
It's wonderful to be a part of this divine occasion, truly blessed. Both my wife and I are here, and it's a great honor to be a part of this divine occasion.
Popular Indian vocalists performed melodious hymns at the consecration ceremony. Singers like Anuradha Podwal, Sonu Nigam, Anu Malik and Shankar Mahadevan amplified the event's allure, creating a unique blend of musical hymns.
जो पल है इसका इंतजार सदियों से सबको था. मैं यहाँ इस भूमि पर हूँ, यहाँ हूँ, अयोध्या में हूँ, और देखो यहाँ अगर आप पैन करें कैमरा तो राम मंदिर जी दिख रहे हैं, तो मैं भावुक बहुत हूँ.
Indian businessman Mukesh Ambani also witnessed the ceremony with his family. Saints of more than 150 traditions, Mahamandaleshwars, Mandaleshwars, Sri Mahants, Mahants as well as Nagas were also present to witness the consecration ceremony. Munmun Bhattacharya for DD India.
And the Indian singer Anuradha Podwal cast a spell on the attendees at the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. The singer-composer Shankar Mahadevan opened the ceremony. Singers were seen serenading everyone with hymns in honor of Lord Ram. And DD India's Shweta Singh is joining us from Janakpur Dham in Nepal. Shweta, of course, Janakpur is the place, the birthplace of Sita, of goddess Sita. So put that into context. I mean, it is considered, after all, closely associated with the Ramayana. And how do people in Nepal look at this particular event?
Mark, actually, the place we can see behind me, the palace. It's a palace.
Well, we seem to have had a bad connection. We have a bad connection with Shweta, but I'm told we are getting in touch with Meghna, who's in Ayodhya. Meghna, can you hear me? Yes, Meghna. So put into context then the entire event that's taken place. Meghna,
yes,
you must have spoken to lots of people. We can see how they were involved with the devotion, how they've come out with their whole heart in terms of worshipping at the Ram Lalla today.
Absolutely. I'm here at the temple complex, just at the temple complex. Right behind me is the temple. If you can see, the entrance of the temple, which takes the path which takes you to the temple. Very importantly, when we talk about today, we saw a lot of people getting so emotional about the fact that the day has finally come and the consecration ceremony has happened finally. And there was a lot of joy in people, a lot of enthusiasm, but obviously they were very, very emotional. I have a few people with me to talk more. What's the feeling today? Did you also get to go inside the temple?
First, Jai Shri Ram. We came from Karnataka, from Koppal district, Gangavati Taluk, Anjanadri, which is connected to Ayodhya. Idhar Hanuman ki Janmabhumi hai, Anjanadri. We have Anjanadri, in the UP have Ram Janmabhumi. So both are the very connected place. So we are requesting to central government and state government to connect the peoples to immediately, and within a short period, we want to make, they want to make a community totally communication
connectivity for here, this place. Definitely see now when Mark we're talking about the place and the development of this place, we definitely see that now more devotees want to come here and worship, and especially after they've seen the pictures and the visuals that Doordarshan has brought to your television screens, there must be a number of people from India and across the globe who would want to worship as soon as possible. And definitely we do see that kind of a feeling, a festive fervor, the feeling of devotion, spirituality, and much more that is beyond explanation, beyond I fall short of words to explain the kind of feeling that people have enjoyed today, be it the bhajan, be it the songs and the music that was played, the instrumental music that was played. Definitely people had a very spiritual time, and they did enjoy completely and were immersed completely for the auspicious occasion and the ceremony.
Indeed, it was a spiritually uplifting experience for everyone. But Meghna, you know, I mean, what the gentleman was referring to also we could see that the Prime Minister also had visited a number of temples before he arrived in Ayodhya. All these temples had a significance with the life of Lord Ram. Many people perhaps would like to, understand the importance of that entire journey that the Prime Minister took. Perhaps you can fill us in.
Yes, absolutely. When we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi on that temple trail to connect wherever, to connect the temples which have had history with Lord Ram, it becomes even more significant that he did it just ahead of the consecration ceremony. And when we see people like our guest here from Karnataka, we see a number of other people who have come from different parts of the country, which is directly, indirectly connected to Lord Ram. We see a number of singers who sing bhajans for Lord Ram. We have seen dancers who devote their dance to Lord Ram, to Ramayan artists and all these people who are in a sense artistically connected to Ramayan and much more. So we definitely see that there's a lot of connection in terms not only the spiritual places, the temples, but also in art, bhajans, dance, all these art forms and much more. We've seen number of carvings, paintings ahead when we were preparing for this ceremony. The past whole week went by where we did see so much associated with Lord Ram, so much that people were doing. Not only that, what Lord Ram teaches us, it's about justice, it's about service. And at this place we saw a lot of people doing so much of service, a lot of institutions doing so much of service, be it food, be it water, be it tea, small to big things, everything people were so immersed in just ahead of the festival, which makes it all a completely different experience. And when we bring the visuals to you on your television screens of the past week as well, and also of the ceremony today, it definitely binds it all together into one emotion, that is the joy that people share, and the similar, very same joy and emotion that people share.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Meghna Dev, for joining us from Ayodhya and giving us an understanding of the spiritual upliftment that's taken place also because of the television all across the world in a sense. And we'll go once again to Shweta Singh from Janakpur Dham in Nepal. Shweta, you were telling us about the significance of the place that you're in and the palace behind you. Go ahead.
Mark, actually, this is the palace of Raj Rishi Janak.
Well, I'm afraid that we don't have a very good connection with Shweta, but let's, in fact, our correspondent Jessica, there is a wave of excitement and devotion among the Hindu communities worldwide. Giant billboards, car rallies, the Ramayan Path in temples. The world has witnessed the consecration of Lord Ram's idol in Ayodhya today. Our correspondent Jessica Taneja looked at what she was looking at the web to see the kind of coverage that it was getting. Let's listen to what she said.
People here in India, but overseas as well, are celebrating this auspicious day after the consecration of the temple. I'm going to take you to some of the visuals that we've been able to look at and how the celebrations are taking place around the world. Let's begin with what was seen in the United States in the morning as various agencies are reporting a look at the Ram Bhajan being sung at the Sri Radhakrishna Temple. This is one of the visuals that has come in from there. Then let's look at some other visuals as well. Now this we're looking at in Monroe in New Jersey, where there was a 25-foot-long stone idol of Lord Hanuman also placed there. If you look at how beautifully this entire event took place yesterday as well. Moving on further to how it's been witnessing across the world. Let's take you to something called a car rally or a bike rally, and few of those have been organized not just in the US and the UK and other countries as well. Let's take you quickly to some of those. This was the one that was organized in the US. It's a huge car rally with people carrying a lot of flags as well. There's another one in UK where we saw a lot of people who were absolutely enthusiastic and out on the streets to celebrate this important day with the rest of the country. And as you know, in Mauritius as well, we've had at least 2 hours of break and a lot of significant importance given to this entire celebration taking place in India, keeping in mind that 48% of the people living in Mauritius are Hindus. Just before we go, there's also a laddu distribution ceremony that took place in the US. So these are the visuals from there that we're getting to you. So far, we've had quite a lot of interesting visuals. This one is from the Golden Gate Bridge in the US, as you see, with the car rallies and flags, of course, atop on those cars. Also interesting thing in the last few days, you know, there was First Lord Ram Temple in Mexico as well. Let's show you some of the beautiful pictures on this day that was tweeted out by the Indian Embassy in Mexico a few days ago. And this was certainly sort of going to lift the mood with what the country is witnessing today.
Well, Dr. Anshu Joshi continues to be with us. She's an expert on international affairs and Indian culture. Dr. Joshi, so we live in the age of, mass media. So everything is broadcast and people can see it and they can all partake of this experience as well. That, in a sense, is quite an important thing, isn't it? It is rewarding for people across the world who wanted to watch and participate.
Yes, it was really significant in a way that all of us who wanted to watch the entire ceremony, and we couldn't go to Ayodhya, from nook and corner of the world, such people could watch. And there the role of media is really important. And more important role, all sort of media and different forms of communication can play in propagating the lessons that lie in the character of Sri Ram. Because we can see there is an eternal wisdom that is encapsulated in the life of what we call Maryada Purushottam Ram. And I'm really happy to see that through different TV channels and through print media, on social media, I can find different such references, episodes of Ramayana, and different such experiences wherein journalists and academicians and writers and people, they're sharing their experience or the lessons they have learned from the nature of Sri Ram. So we all know, Mark, we are living in the very complex world, and our lives are also very complex. And here I do see a very positive role that is played by different mode of communications and media in context of this Pran Pratishtha program and Ayodhya by and large.
So what are the kind of lessons then one can learn from the story, from the life of Lord Ram in terms of diplomacy? because there were some instances in the Ramayana, messengers were sent, and they said they were given, Lord Ram said, we cannot punish the messenger. These are the kind of important messages perhaps that even are relevant even till today. People can carry harsh messages, but let's not punish the messenger in a sense.
There are a lot of messages or the lessons, I would say, that lie in Ramayana, and we can learn a lot if we look at global politics by and large. So if we go back to Ramayana and if we see how Sri Ram behaved at different instances, so for example, he believed that nobody is bigger, nobody is smaller. So there is a big message, diplomatic message here, as in establishing good relations with different nations irrespective of their size. And that is what Sri Ram did when he was marching towards Sri Lanka. So when Kishkindha Kand happened, when he met Sugriv, when he met Sri Hanuman, and what he did here and made Sugriv as his friend, he actually gives a lesson of establishing good relations with other parties or other actors, irrespective of their size or their nature and so on. Then he also gives a lesson of not shooting the messenger. It's very important, and that is what we teach when we teach the basics and theories of diplomacy as well.
Okay.
At the same time, Mark, there are certain moral lessons which are very important for righteous diplomatic conduct. For example, the virtue of dharma.
Right.
Using the right moral values, because in this world where people can easily negotiate over moral values, Ram teaches us the importance of staying true to our principles. At the same time, he also gives a lesson of leadership.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Dr. Anshu Joshi, for talking to us on this important day, and our congratulations to you as well for the consecration of the Ram Temple. Now, joyous Ram devotees and members of the Indian diaspora around the world gathered at several places and organized prayers, car rallies, and other religious events to celebrate the consecration of the Ram Lalla in Ayodhya. Well, the Ramayana, it reminds us of our duty towards the world, society and family, as Dr. Anshu Joshi was talking about. The Hindu epic, it links India with Southeast Asia through oral and cultural traditions. Let's look at this report.
This imposing structure, the Ram Temple, is in the traditional Nagar style. It is 3-storied and each floor is 20 feet tall. The temple has 392 pillars and 44 doors. There are 4 temples at its 4 corners, dedicated to the sun god, goddess Bhagavati, Lord Ganesha and Lord Shiva. The temple has been constructed entirely using indigenous technology with emphasis on water conservation. India's rich literary heritage is globally recognized in the form of the great epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The story of Ram, originally written by Valmiki, consists of 24,000 shlokas. The Ramayana is about 480,000 words and is much smaller in length than the Mahabharata. UNESCO acknowledges Ram Leela as a performance of the Ramayana epic in a series of scenes that include song, narration, recital and dialogue. The most representative Ram Leelas are those of Ayodhya, Ramnagar, Banaras, Vrindavan, Almora, Satna and Madhubani. The performances last 10 to 12 days, but some, such as Ramnagar, may last an entire month. The story of the Ramayana binds the cultures of India and Thailand. Lord Ram is central to the people of both the countries. Ayodhya, around 70 kilometers north of Bangkok, has its roots in Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram. Rama King is the Thai version of the Ramayana. The Ramayana is said to be brought to Southeast Asia by Buddhist monks. Lord Ram is so entrenched in Thai culture that the Thai soil from Ayodhya has been sent to Ayodhya for the temple. Angkor Wat in central Cambodia has two brilliant temple complexes that display Ramayana and Mahabharata on their walls. Rama's Bridge, also known as Adam's Bridge, is a chain of limestone shoals between Pamban or Rameshwaram Island off the coast of Tamil Nadu and Mannar Island on the northern coast of Sri Lanka. The 50-kilometer stretch was first mentioned in the ancient Indian epic Ramayana. Valmiki speaks of a bridge, Setu Bandhanam, a bridge over the ocean linking India with Sri Lanka. The Indonesian version of Ramayana is the Balinese Ramaka Waka, which is a developed version of the Kakawin Ramayana. Here Sita, Rama's wife, is depicted as a bold and strong and is seen fighting with Asuras in Ravan's Lanka instead of waiting for Ram to rescue her. The Ramayana circuit includes major pilgrim sites in India and Nepal related to Ramayana, such as Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh and Janakpur in Nepal, believed to be the birthplace of Sita. The Ayodhya Ram Temple will no doubt become an important pilgrimage center for Hindus. It is revered as the birthplace of Lord Ram. Also, as per Hindu cosmology, Ayodhya is believed to have existed since the Treta Yuga, the second age in the cycle of 4 yugas. Bureau Report, DD India.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Hour. Wishing all of you the blessings of Lord Ram, Raghav, Narayan and Goddess Sita Vaidehi. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.